What's happening, everybody? Welcome to another episode here, the Side Guys Football Forum. I'm one of your co-hosts on the side, joined as always by my good friend, my good buddy, the other half of this Side Guys, the Tad the Side. And Tad, over the years, there have been many historic battles, many historic rivalries that you want to say. You know, there's George Foreman versus Muhammad Ali, the Rumble in the Jungle. You got your movie lore with Luke Skywalker versus Darth Vader. You got your Pokemon lore with your Ash Ketchum versus Gary Oak. But I think none of them will ever kept.
Gary, isn't Gary the one with Onyx?
No.
No,
Lord, no.
Oh, no, that was Brock. That was Brock. Oh, that's bad. That's
Gary
bad,
Oak is Professor Oak's grandson. Historic rivalry from the very beginning. But Tad, none of them can ever meet the same historic rivalry and the magnitude of the matchup as
Mike
the
Tyson
Psy guy versus the Psy guy to move on in the LAFB fantasy playoffs.
Are we facing
we're battling in round one, Tad. I don't know. Clearly you don't know that.
Hold on. Checking up our matchup right now. Oh, good God. Oh, 62% chance of winning. Let's go.
Yeah. Things sort of started slow for me because I started Brock Purdy from Thursday.
Dude. I started him in my other league, and I was like, okay. So this
I think he gave me like 4 points or something like that.
3.3 for me.
There you go. Yes, even better. So we'll see how it all plays out. But yeah, that is to advance to crown a third new champion in the LAFB Football League. So we had Alfred Rowe win the inaugural trophy.
Coming back to Dallas.
It could possibly come back to you. It could come to me. Chauncey is unfortunately not going to defend his title. He has not made the playoffs this year. Sorry, Chauncey, good buddy. So yeah, we'll have a new champion in the LAFB Football Fantasy League. Yeah, guys, this is the first week of the fantasy playoffs for a lot of people's fantasy leagues out there. So that is why it's
second week for some.
Attention. Second week for some people. Some people, the playoff 70 has started. They go 16 to 17. So you have 2 weeks of the playoffs. So yeah, we'll see how it all goes out. But just important here, even though we haven't gotten to an episode the last couple of weeks, we apologize for that. But that is why it's important to follow us on our social media handles, because we drop graphics for everything in case we can't come to you with an episode. But yeah, this episode, Tad, we're getting into that week 15 starts and sits in a critical playoff fantasy league, playoff week, in all of your fantasy leagues. So yeah, it is very important to make sure you're getting all the decisions correct when it comes to your start sit decisions this week for sure, because yeah, you could go one and done, or hopefully you could continue on in your fantasy respective playoffs there.
Yep. No, and like I said, it's clutch time basically. If like, it doesn't really matter where your league is, it's time to show up or you're done. And unfortunately I'm done. And that's why I was so surprised, because I'm done in 2 of my 4 leagues, not my own fault, but whatever. But yeah, no. So this is our advice is still to be heated.
Exactly.
Is that
heated? Yes. Heed our advice. Yeah. So
heed. Yeah. Heed. HEED. Yeah.
Close enough. But Tad, also, I think the bigger thing that definitely people need to get into is that as we get to the final weeks of the NFL regular season going into the playoffs, definitely get in all of your last minute bets when it comes to our good friends at Underdog Fantasy. Because yeah, you could bet on the final weeks of the NFL regular season. Definitely you could bet on the NFL playoffs. You got college basketball going on. You got both the men's and the women's. You got the NBA going on right now. You got NHL football, NHL hockey going on right now.
I was about to say NHL football.
Well, because I was trying to
I would watch that. Dude, football on ice, I would totally watch that.
You also, I think the biggest thing was I was trying to get to my next one, which is the bowl season has started, is going to to be happening as of December 14th, as when we're going to get bowl games as well. So, my guys, tons of things you've been betting on. And Tad, just this past week, we had the MLB winter meetings. Lots of players moving around. So, I mean, once the MLB season comes around, you'll be changing a lot of your bets based on all the movements that we had. Juan Soto's a Met now. Kyle Tucker is a member of the Chicago Cubs.
What?
Devin Williams is a member of the New York Yankees.
What?
Isaac Paredes is a member of the Houston Astros.
What?
And, of course, Blake Snell is a member of our hometown LAFB's Los Angeles Dodgers there. So I mean,
of course,
a lot of moving and shaking here. And I'm sorry, Tab, but Tyler O'Neill's not making a reunion with St. Louis Cardinals. He signed with the Baltimore Orioles instead.
Really?
So,
wow.
Yeah. So lots of moving and shaking with the MLB. So that's what we're on in a couple months there. But yeah, get into the action with our good friends at Underdog Fantasy. Use our promo code DESAI, DESAI, so you can double up on your initial deposit of $10 or more, up to $500, courtesy of our good friends at Underdog Fantasy. You can use the website, very easy to use, very user-friendly there, as well as their apps, both on Apple and Android devices. Very easy to use, very user-friendly as there as well. So guys, get into the action. Lots of fun you can be having. Lots of money you can be winning as we get closer to the holiday season here. Get yourself some spending money as you get yourself some Christmas gifts and holiday gifts for all of your respective families and friends. So yeah, that promo code once again is DESAI, DESAI. Double up on your initial deposit of $10 or more, up to $500, courtesy of our good friends at Underdog Fantasy. So Tad, like we talked about, this is a very critical week for a lot of people. There's no more bye weeks, so the rest of the season, if you were able to survive bye-pocalypse from last year, and you made the playoffs, then, we salute you. Good job. Thanks for, listening to our podcast. I'm pretty sure we gave you a lot of great advice and following us on our social media handles to make sure that you had all the right decisions to go into the bye-apocalypse the most prepared that you can be. And so hopefully you are sitting in a playoff spot ready to move on. If you have a bye week, then fantastic. Awesome. Power to you. But in case you have a first round matchup, this is very important. Or starts and sits for week 15. Tad, let's start at quarterback. What do you got for me a starter sit this week?
All right. This is my hottest take. I'm starting off with my hottest take.
Okay.
But I think it's safe to start Kirk Cousins.
Wow.
I know.
That's quite bold.
I know. Because he is on a bad streak right now. He over the last 2 games.
Bad streak's an understatement, my friend. Like, it's been pretty awful. They've been calling for Michael Penix, and honestly, wouldn't surprise me if they need to maybe go that.
That would surprise you. Get out of here.
Maybe a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. But they're paying him like $60 million. Like, come on.
I know.
But yes, over the last 2 games, 0 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Not great. But do you know who the Falcons are playing this week?
I think it's Las Vegas, correct?
You are correct. Yes. It is the Raiders. So here's the deal is I think it's a bad streak. It's not a permanent thing with Kirk Cousins. So I think eventually he's going to dig himself out of this, rut and, come back. And what better team to do that than against than the Raiders? Because get this, the Raiders have allowed and I'm talking like all season, all but 2 quarterbacks to go for over 15 points.
Wow.
Yeah. So that Raiders secondary, other than Merrick, is bad. Other than Merrick. I got to throw that in there. But no, bottom line being is I think this is a prime bounce back game for Kirk Cousins. They're still in the, hunt for the division, which is insane because the NFC South is just a dumpster fire. But anyway, point being is I think that, they're still playing for something. So, the motivation is still there. And like I said, the Vegas secondary is just not there. So I actually like Kirk Cousins as a start.
I do agree with you. It is a very bold move to sort of make that declaration. Especially like I said, there's no bye week. So it's like if you're kind of stuck starting Kirk Cousins, then it's like, yeah, that's a very bold. But I completely agree with you. With the matchup based there with Las Vegas, they're not really, stopping anybody these days. So it's like it's a very good situation for Kirk Cousins to sort of bounce back. Like you said, they're playing for a potential playoff spot to win the NFC South, which is still very much up for grabs there with the Buccaneers sort of sliding in the middle parts of the season there. So, I mean, yeah, if you want to sort of get hot at the right time, then this is the right game to sort of get you on track there. So I can very much see Kirk Cousins having a good game, but just, yeah, based on what I've seen the past couple of games, it's hard to imagine. It's hard to imagine. But
No,
yeah, everything is there for him to have a good game. I can see that for sure.
It's a gamble for sure. But at this point, let's just be honest. If you're in the playoffs, you probably already have a starter and you're set. So it's just, bitch. Okay. The furry Jason Voorhees is chasing after me. Should I show the viewers? Okay, never mind. Anyway, point being is, I think, and that's kind of the point of the starting thing is like, if you lucked your way into the playoffs and you're like, and let's say, I don't know, you have Derek Carr, and you're like, oh shit, what do I do now? Like, I think Kirk Cousins is your best move because he's only not even started, but he's only rostered in about 40% of ESPN leagues.
Yeah, I have a feeling a lot of people use Kirk Cousins as like a streaming option, and he wasn't their main quarterback. And yeah, for those of you wondering who have Derek Carr as a fantasy manager, he is not playing this weekend. We will be seeing Jake Haener under center for the New Orleans Saints this weekend. So yeah, just a little bit of a tidbit there in case you are thinking about starting Derek Carr. He is not playing this weekend. But Tad, for one NFC South quarterback as a start this week, I'm actually going with the NFC South quarterback as a sit this week. I'm saying sit Baker Mayfield versus the Los Angeles Chargers this week. So if you look at the last 4 weeks for Baker Mayfield, it's been very up and down because if you look back at week 10 against San Francisco, he had only 8.9 fantasy points. Then he followed up the next week against the Giants, scoring 18.7 fantasy points. Then he followed that up with a dud week against Carolina Panthers of all teams. They only scored 10.2 fantasy points that week. But then last week this is actually a good sign for Kirk Cousins, but against the Raiders, Baker Mayfield put up 19 fantasy points. So, there is some optimism there for Kirk Cousins, but my optimism for Baker Mayfield is not that high this week because, heading into this week against the Los Angeles Chargers, they're still fighting for a playoff spot. They won't be able to win the division, unfortunately, because the Chiefs have already locked that up by beating the Chargers last week, but they could still possibly clinch a wild card spot, so they're playing for a lot of potential there. But the Chargers defense, Tad, has only allowed an average of 16.19 fantasy points per week to opposing quarterbacks. So, that's one of the best in the NFL. I think they're 10th best, if I remember correctly. But also, here's two key things. Bucky Irving has been questionable in practice all week long. He has not been practicing.
I don't think he's going to play.
I think it's trending in that direction. It has not been confirmed yet. But then Mike Evans has also not been practicing this week. He did finally log a practice. He logged a practice on Friday. So a lot of people are saying it was just a precautionary measure. He should be good to go on Sunday. But that is something to keep in mind there. But just if you're out two of your key weapons in that offense, that just spells to me that Baker Mayfield is not in for a good game fantasy-wise. Chargers have a lot to gain here. I know the Bucs are still very much in the place. They are currently the leaders in the NFC South, so they definitely could use a win here. But I just don't like this matchup between a tough Chargers defense and a very, middling Bucs offense right now with some injuries on their skill set at the skill position. Excuse me there. So I'm saying sit Baker Mayfield this week.
Get off the stove. Thank you. Okay. I agree. Especially, the absence of Chris Godwin, man, that's
a big,
It's completely changed that offense. It was too funny because Jalen McMillan, who I thought was going to, explode, post all these injuries, he caught his first career touchdown last weekend, and everyone was like, yes, finally. Like, it's just, I don't know, kind of like what you said of like, the Bucs just feel. You're giving me a look. Why am I getting?
Well, because I don't think that was his first career touchdown last week. I think he scored earlier in the season.
Was it? Yeah. Well,
I think it was like either week 1 or week 2. He scored a touchdown then. So.
Oh well, okay, but like, all my being is like
in a while. Yes, I can give you that one.
Thank you. I will take that. But it's just, this Buccaneers offense when it comes to the passing game, because I know that Bucky Irving's been going. God damn it, he has made me look like a fool. I hate that man.
He's been pretty solid.
He's been so good. Solid. And I said he was terrible in my draft coverage.
That's true. That's very, very true.
Kyle Trask, there's still hope. I got so excited when he came in for like 2 plays. Anyway,
Jalen McMillan scored all the way in week 1. He scored a touchdown in week 1.
Right.
He scored 2 touchdowns last week against the Raiders, though.
There you go. So point being, though, is everyone was like, oh my God, who's this guy? Because that offense has just felt so stilted for so long. And I actually did not know that about Mike Evans, that he may not play. Mike Evans is like the new Julio Jones. Like there's the Q always next to his name. But yeah, no, I'm hesitating here because I have him in 2 of my leagues, but that's a good benching. I need to get a backup. Let me just hold on.
So Mike Evans still possibly could play this weekend. I think they held him out of practice earlier in the week, but he did practice on Friday. But yeah, Bucky Irving is trending towards not playing. So yeah, make sure you just monitor the situation with Mike Evans as we get closer to Sunday. So Tad, let's get to the running back position.
Tua is there. Tua is
actually a good matchup against Houston.
It's actually not bad.
So, I got to start at the running back position here, Tad. I'm sticking with the NFC South here. I'm going with Chuba Hubbard versus the Dallas Cowboys this week. So, Tad, Chuba Hubbard has been on fire the last 5 weeks.
He's been the most underrated fantasy football running back of the entire season.
If I remember correctly, he won the Doak Walker at Oklahoma State, right?
I'm on it.
I know he was at least a finalist. If he didn't win it, I know he was a finalist this final year. But Tad, in 4 of the last 5 games, Hubbard has scored at least 15 fantasy points. And in 3 of those 4 games, Tad, he scored at least 20 fantasy points. So, I mean, yeah, this guy has absolutely been a machine for fantasy managers who have rostered him. His stock, though, climbed so much higher. You got something for me here?
Yeah, I do. All right, so he won Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year in 2019, and then he won the John Cornish Trophy in 2019, same year. Do you want to guess what the John Cornish Trophy is?
I have absolutely no idea.
That's why I'm laughing. The John Cornish Trophy is an award given annually to the top Canadian player in NCAA football.
Wow.
I had no idea he was Canadian.
There's a fun fact. Yeah, I actually didn't think he was Canadian either, but okay.
He was born in Edmonton.
Edmonton. All right.
Go Oilers?
Oilers, yes.
Okay. All right. Just making sure.
But yeah, Ted.
Connor McDavid? Did I get that right?
Yeah, McDavid is with the Oilers.
Yeah, there we go.
But yeah, jumping back to Hubbard here, I think the bigger thing that sort of increases the stock for Hubbard this week and the rest of the season is that unfortunately, Tad, is the surrounding news surrounding Jonathan Brooks, because he unfortunately tore his ACL in his right knee
that's what ended up happening.
For the second time in a span of 2 years, because that is the injury that he suffered back in November of 2023. He was still a member of the Texas Longhorns. That's why he sort of slid into the second round there. A lot of people saw the potential there, but yeah, it is the same exact. Yeah, that is looking, for all you dynasty managers of Jonathan Brooks, that is something to keep in mind. That's like now he's had the ACL in the same knee for 2 straight years. Fortunately, that also came on
so late in the year too.
Exactly.
Damn it.
That came also on his very first carry against the Philadelphia Eagles. So yeah, he went down very quick. So yeah, that is unfortunately bad news for Brooks. But for all of you Chuba Hubbard managers, that is absolutely good news for him, because yeah, this Panthers offense has sort of been coming together over the last few weeks. Bryce Young has been looking a lot better in this offense as well, Tad. But they also have a prime matchup against the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys just allowed Chase Brown to total 123 scrimmage yards, and he scored 1 touchdown against them as well. Dallas is allowing, an average of 25.47 fantasy points to opposing running backs, which is ranked for the 4th worst in the NFL when it comes to fantasy points allowed to opposing running backs. So he's got a great matchup. You got a good, running back there. He's going to take the lion's share of the carries now, unfortunately, with that news surrounding Jonathan Brooks. So yeah, Chuba Hubbard, I think that's a smash start this week.
I traded him 3 weeks ago.
Of course you did. Who haven't you traded?
Seriously. Well, no, because
no. That's a good question. Who from the roster that you originally drafted is still on your team?
Honestly, I don't think there's
exactly. Oh my Lord, seriously, Trader Joe's is like the ultimate name.
That's why it's a good name.
That's why it's a perfect name. Why?
Man, but no, it's too like the reason I traded him is because I thought that Jonathan
The
Brooks
emergence of
was
Jonathan
going
Brooks?
to,
Yeah, that's
was
fair,
going to
that's
start
fair.
taking over. Now it's like, God damn it. Because he's been killing it this season. He is on par with, running backs that we are more familiar with that are doing well, like Josh Jacobs. If you actually compare their stats, they are very similar. So yeah, Chuba Hubbard's having a great year. He's, best of all, consistent. You can at least get at 10 points in a half PPR league from him. And yeah, no, it's a good start. It's just, God, I miss him.
Final thing about Chuba Hubbard, Ted, if I had to ask you, where do you think he's ranked right now among all running backs as far as his fantasy position in PPR leagues?
7.
Lower. He is actually 12th. So he's still a
That's
top 12 running back,
low,
though. He's still a top 12 running back.
And I know this because he was on my team for most of the season because I traded him away as well. I really have a problem, don't I?
You do.
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah. Just talk to my therapist about that. But yeah. Well, anyway, but Josh Jacobs.
Did you make the playoffs this year with all those trades?
No,
exactly. See, so maybe you need to rate it.
And that's why I was shocked when you said I made the championship in our league because I haven't made a single trade there.
It's true.
So it's like, oh shit, maybe
we almost were trying to work on a trade, but then it ended up falling through.
Yeah, because you're a bastard.
Doesn't matter.
When you were trying to rip me off, and you know it.
No, you're trying to give me a hurt Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, I mean, look at how he's doing now. He's carrying our offense. He's not carrying our offense. Anthony fucking Richardson.
Yeah, good luck against Denver this week.
God damn it!
All right, Ted.
Pat Surtain over 1 interception confirmed.
There you go. Who you got at the sit this week at the running back position?
Oh man, for your sit. Oh, this one made me happy.
Oh.
Well, can you guess who? Based off that clue?
Made you happy as far as a sit this week?
Yep.
Travis Etienne?
Oh, very close. Because they both equally suck. Okay. Najee Harris.
Najee Harris, okay.
Najee Harris is a sit against. Do you know who the Pittsburgh Steelers are playing?
It's a Battle of Pennsylvania. They're playing the Philadelphia Eagles this week.
Indeed, my friend. And here's the crazy thing. So, Najee Harris is on a fantasy hot streak. I will give him that. And again, half PPR leagues, he has scored over 10 points 2 out of the last 3 weeks. However, these are the stats you need to look out for. He has only averaged over 4 yards a carry once since their week 9 bye week. Amar, do you know what that means fantasy-wise?
He's only averaged 4 yards per carry once
in the last 5 weeks.
That's probably he's getting a lot of carries, but it's not leading to a lot of yards then.
So why is he on a fantasy hot streak then?
Because he's scoring touchdowns.
There you go. That's exactly it. He is a touchdown dependent running back. And here's the thing. The Eagles have allowed the 5th fewest points to running backs this year. So I do not like that matchup whatsoever. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are absolute playoff frauds, and I think they get exposed this weekend.
Could happen. It very well could happen. All right, Ted, let's move on to the receiver position. You got to start sit for me this week.
This is surprising. Well, and I got to admit, I think these stats are slightly skewed because they are coming off, what are we calling it? By-Mageddon?
By-Mageddon, By-Apocalypse. I mean,
there's so many words. That's it. No, that
either way.
I like By-Apocalypse better. That rolls off. But apparently he's only being started in 42% of leagues, which is insane to me. I like Courtland Sutton against, do you know the Colts? Or, well, I'll just get it right. Damn it.
Nicely done. Nicely
done. It. That's what happens when we record after 10 p.m. But yes, no, Courtland Sutton against the Colts. He is I will, hit the ball right back at you. Where do you think he ranks in, total fantasy receivers?
I'd probably say top 15. I think I'm going to go right at 15.
He's the 11th ranked.
11th. Wow. 11th. Okay.
Exactly. And he is only being started in 42% of leagues. Now, again, maybe that number will rise since he's coming off a bye week.
Yep.
Because ESPN doesn't actively update their numbers. But regardless, it's too funny because, well, shocker. I was trying to trade him, and people were like, I don't want Courtland Sutton. I'm like, why not? Because he's been killing it. He's hit double digits every week since their bye week. That dude is, I almost said Drew Lock. That dude is Bo Nix's top target, and he loves targeting him. And I have proof because he's had 8 targets or more for 6 straight weeks. And you know me and my targets. I love my targets.
It's true.
And so you look at what, who they're facing. The Colts are terrible. Other than Kenny Moore is good. I will not speak any ill against Kenny Moore. Please don't leave. But point being is the rest of the Colts secondary is goddamn. Actually, Julian Blackmon's not bad either. But
Julian Blackmon's a good one.
Yeah, no, he's going to leave, though, because he's a free agent. So, but anyway, everyone else, other than those 2 guys, are terrible. So I think Courtland Sutton is due for a really, really good day. God, I miss Bob Sanders.
Oh, wait, you guys got Julius Brett. No, wait, he's hurt, right?
No, he's not you bastard.
No, I think, it's so surprising.
Vontae Davis, can he come back? Is that allowed?
Dude, R.I.P. Vontae Davis.
He's dead?
You didn't know that? Yes, he is dead.
What?
Bro, that is... No, don't even do that to me. Yeah, he is unfortunately, he has passed away, my friend.
Oh my God. I mean, I don't know. Maybe we can pull some pagan shit.
Hey, it is as of recording Friday the 13th. Maybe you got some Frankenstein.
That's true. There we go.
And you got Vontae Davis. But buddy, unfortunately, he will not be walking through the doors because he is not physically able to.
I shouldn't speak ill of the dead, but he probably would quit at halftime anyways. Speaking of which, Devondre Campbell,
I know yourself. That was actually you actually brought up Vontae Davis. That was brought up by the Thursday Night Football crew or whatever, because they're discussing that afterwards, and they were like, has that ever happened? And then they were like, Antonio Brown, and then they mentioned Vontae Davis, but it's like they retired. So the question Carissa Thompson posed was just like, has anybody quit and then still wanted to play? So it's like they wanted to play for another team. So it's just like, they couldn't come up with a good answer for that.
I think I have one.
What do you got for me?
I'll give you a hint. It was while he was with the Titans.
Talk about Albert Hainsworth?
Nope.
Tannehill?
Nope.
Vince Young?
Nope. Oh, Vince Young. That's actually not a bad guess.
Courtland Finnegan?
Nope. Damn, I forgot about Courtland Finnegan.
Then I'm out.
Randy Moss. Remember that? He quit at halftime on a Monday Night Football game.
I think I remember that now. But
then he went back to play for Minnesota.
Yeah, no, that's all coming to me now. Yeah. That makes sense. Sense. So they couldn't think of anything else to happen.
All right, hire me, ESPN. Let's do it.
Devondre Campbell, that was a very interesting situation. And a lot of people are saying like, he's not gonna be a Niner for much longer. Which
fuck him.
Yeah.
I also loved how all the players were just like, what a bitch.
No, seriously. It's like, it's come on. It was still a winnable game at that point. So it's just like,
it was just
to
like
quit on them and just like, that's soft move, man. Soft move.
Just Anyway, Courtland Sutton versus Colts. I like it.
Yeah, very good pick there for sure.
Also, Bob Sanders, please come back.
You brought up Najee Harris as the sit free at the running back position. I'm sticking with the Steelers here because I have a sit the wide receiver position because I like the Eagles defense. I'm saying sit George Pickens this week against the Philadelphia Eagles. And so here's a very interesting thing, Tad. George Pickens leads the Steelers with 90 targets on the season. Of those 90 targets, though, he's only caught 55 of them. So that is a success rate as far as the catch percentage of 61%. Like, I mean, that is pretty much, it's pretty much he's catching the ball, nobody's catching the ball. It's like very, like, I don't know what it is, where it's just like Russell Wilson overthrows or whether he's just not catching it.
He would never do that.
Just like, So it's just like, it's very interesting that it's just like he's only caught 55 of those balls. Now, Pickens is a yardage monster. So when he does catch the ball, he's getting these long chunk plays, getting these long monster gains. So he leads the team with 850 receiving yards. The next closest Steeler on the team is Pat Fryer with only 470 receiving yards. So this guy is getting a lot of receiving yards. But the thing is, we already brought up this Eagles defense has been absolutely, they've been stopping everybody since the bye week in week 5, shutting down everybody. They have not allowed a quarterback to go over 300 passing yards since that bye week. They've also allowed only 3 quarterbacks to go over 200 passing yards in that same 9-week span. They've obviously got 9 straight wins in that span, and only 2 receivers in that 9-week span have gone over 100 receiving yards. So I think this is a very good Eagles defense. They're one of the hottest teams in the NFC, if not the entire NFL right now. And so, yeah, this defense has been stopping everybody. I don't like George Pickens to get any big chunk gains against this defense. We've already talked about on the podcast, Dad. They got those 2 stud rookies in Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean. They've been coming together there with all their veterans as well. They've been getting out to the quarterback too. So, yeah, this seems to me like it's going to be a very defensive-heavy battle. We're not going to see a lot of points. Very similar to what we saw Thursday night. I can see something very similar happening here between the Steelers and the Eagles. So because of that, yeah, I'm saying sit George Pickens this week.
All right, listen to me. I know you have a lot to pay in child support. So, Antonio Cromartie, just come on to Indianapolis.
See, I would have loved it better if you said Quentin Jammer.
Damn it! Damn it! That would have been better.
Jammer.
Shit. Anyway, Cromartie, get your ass over here. But no, I like that pick. And yeah, it just seems like we're both in agreement. Like, I just think, again, you know, I was just going for the hot take there, but the Steelers aren't as good as the record reflects. And I think this is the weekend that we recognize that, because
I think so.
The Steelers have beaten teams beneath them, but can you beat a team better than you? I don't think they will. Clearly, neither do you. So we'll see.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think the Steelers haven't really faced that tough a competition during all the massive wins that they've gotten. I will say the Eagles got the benefit of the doubt a lot of the time too, because they played Carolina, they played Washington, they played Dallas a lot of the
barely
time.
Beat Carolina too.
They did barely beat Carolina. I do agree with that, but yeah, they did get some easy wins early in their winning streak. But yeah, they've also got some good wins as well. So I'm siding with Philadelphia here more than Pittsburgh, but yeah, I definitely could see a situation here where whoever loses, I think they may get put under the microscope more as far as like, are they really contenders once they get to the playoffs, or are they more frauds like you're sort of paid to get? It's just, yeah, I think it seems like we're both in the same boat. That's like Pittsburgh seems more like the frauds, whether they win or lose.
Marquise Goodwin is an Eagle.
Is he still with the Eagles?
I was making a joke on the Goodwin thing.
It wouldn't surprise me if he was still with the Eagles, though.
Wait, he was an Eagle at all? I didn't.
He was an Eagle. Yes, he was an Eagle.
Wow. Okay, yeah. I will look that up. But we have.
He may be retired by now, though. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. But yes, at one point he was a Philadelphia Eagle. So for all of you Immaculate Grid players out there, yes, Marquise Goodwin was a Philadelphia Eagle at one point. Ted, let's get to the tight end position here. So you got to start for me this week.
Another little bit of a hot take, but I'm telling you, sit Sam LaPorta.
Honestly, like the way the season has gone for him, it's not that hot of a take.
It's not that hot of a take. So in games where he hasn't scored a touchdown, he's only gone over 5 points once, which means
he's not getting the targets and he's not getting fantasy points for you.
He's touchdown dependent.
Touchdown dependent, yes, for sure.
Now, do you want to guess over under 2 touchdowns allowed to? Well, first off, do you know who they play this weekend? It's probably the game of the week.
I'm actually blanking on who Detroit's playing this week. Oh, no. I forgot. Buffalo.
You are correct. So they are playing Buffalo. Over under 2 touchdowns to tight ends allowed by Buffalo.
I think under. I want to say like 0.
I'm such a bastard. It's over.
Oh, it's over.
No, it's over. It's over. But by 1. It's 3.
Okay. Got it.
And in one of those cases, it was 2 touchdowns in the same game. So they are very good against the tight end. And honestly, I don't know this for sure, but my bet is because they're probably putting Matt Milano on him. and he is so damn good. I could not believe they re-signed him. I thought he was going to get a massive contract elsewhere, but whatever. Point being is Buffalo does not allow a whole lot of touchdowns to tight ends, and if LaPorta does not score a touchdown, he's kind of a shit start. So that's why I think he's the name that people are going to start and then end up regretting. It would not shock me whatsoever if he only had 3, 4, 5 points. So I'm telling you, like, there are better options out there than LaPorta. Also, Nominee Asamoah, I'm telling you, man, Indianapolis this time of the year, it's just beautiful. Just beautiful. You should check it out.
I'm Asamoah. That's a good pull there. That's a good pull there for sure. But yeah, I totally remembered that they're playing Buffalo this week because I saw a stat on social media that the starting price to view a game between Buffalo and Detroit this coming weekend, you want to guess how much it is?
Oh, God. Is it in Buffalo? Well, this is important. Is it in Buffalo or in Detroit?
I think it's in Detroit. Let me double check that.
Okay.
It's in Detroit.
Okay, so it's indoors. Shit. 600?
A little too high there. But yeah, it is the most expensive game to date in a regular season game. It is $437 to enter the building to watch this game as the lowest point right now. And the funny thing is that when Dan Campbell first took the job in Detroit back in 2021, the Lions had a ticket offer. You could watch every single Lions home game for $327.
It's okay. Trump said he would lower the prices. It's fine.
But
I believe him.
But it also speaks to the fact that just how quickly things can turn around and just how much he has transformed Detroit to be these contenders now. Because I
feel so bad for Cleveland. Can you imagine a Browns fan looking like, oh, come on?
Seriously. It's like whatever the Midas touch is that's happening with Detroit is the absolute antithesis that is happening in Cleveland.
They turned Jared Goff into an MVP candidate, and meanwhile Nick Chubb is tearing up his knee. Like, come on.
I know. Yeah. And yeah, we'll see if Cleveland can turn it around. I'm very curious to see if they do decide to move on for Deshaun Watson. They should, but that is a lot of money to eat. That is a lot of money to eat for sure.
Champ Bailey, hey, you're still around.
Champ Bailey.
Come on over, baby.
All right, Ted, I got to start at the tight end position here. We're talking about the Philadelphia Eagles. So I got a former Philadelphia Eagle that I want to talk about here, and that's Zach Ertz as they start this week against the New Orleans Saints. And so we already brought this up a little bit earlier in the episode, but Derek Carr has been ruled out for this game this week. He is potentially going to be ruled out for the rest of the season as well, but that has not been officially declared yet. He is dealing with a left hand injury, so Jake Haener will be playing in his stead for the New Orleans Saints this week. This pretty much is telling me that this offense is not going to be able to generate much on offense, obviously. So I think this is just going to give the Washington Commanders more opportunities on offense for them to really move the ball, get as many points as they need to. Ertz comes into week 15, Tad, having 3 solid straight weeks at the tight end position. He has scored a touchdown in all 3 weeks, and he scored double-digit fantasy points in all 3 weeks as well. Ertz has had at least 6 targets as well in all 4 straight games, so even going past the 3-week span. So you have to know that Jaden Daniels is looking his way. He is trusting him more and more in this offense as we get closer to the playoffs. You definitely want to rely on that veteran presence, that safety valve at the tight end position. So yeah, Zach Ertz has become a reliable part of this Commanders offense, and I definitely like this matchup against the New Orleans Saints, where, like I said, they're not going to generate much on offense, which means their defense will get that much tired. The Washington offense will be able to get a lot of opportunities there. So yeah, I see a lot of targets going by the way of Zach Ertz.
Yeah, I mean, it's like we've always said with rookie quarterbacks, what do they love the most is their tight ends, is because it's their security blanket, and Ertz has been that for Jaden Daniels whenever he does decide to pass. Now, that's the thing, is like, is he going to run it more? Is he going to pass him more? But I think that's a very safe gamble to take because, yeah, eventually he's going to have to pass him more. And especially because that, I mean, we were talking earlier about, teams that have lowered and dropped. Man, the Commanders have dropped. Like, they look like the best team of football. And now we're they might be
go either way.
Yeah, maybe. So no, I actually really like that pick. But God, I can't remember, who did Zach Ertz used to play for?
Are you talking about professional team or college?
Professional team.
Play for the Eagles. You also play for the Cardinals.
Oh, you play for the Eagles. Okay. Well, speaking of the Eagles, Asante Samuel, if you're available, like this, I hear Indianapolis is just exactly the same thing as Philadelphia.
Speaking of the Saints, why'd you give Tracy Porter a call?
You son of a bitch! We do not mention his name on this podcast. We agreed on that on day one.
I had to do it.
You bastard!
I had to do it. It was not an option.
No,
it was not an option. I had to do it.
That name is unspeakable.
All right, Ted, we're talking about
that's like saying Beetlejuice or Bloody Mary in the mirror. You don't do it.
We're talking about defensive backs
we're
here.
Talking about betrayal is what we're talking about.
Why don't we get to the defensive position here, Ted? You got to start for me this week.
Yeah, I do, you fucking traitor. So this is actually a little tough because you were talking them up earlier, but I think the Eagles are a sit this week. The Eagles defense is a sit. Because this surprised me. Since week 11, they've only gone over 5 points once.
Wow.
Okay. I know. It shocked me as well. So you look at who they're playing against the Steelers. They've held 4 of their last 5 opponents to 6 points or fewer. Wow. So I'm not exactly saying it's a terrible option. Like if you have no other option, it's not a bad one to go for. But at the same time, there are probably better ones out there. Like I don't love this matchup in terms of fantasy. I think the Eagles are gonna, and that's why like you're surprised. Like the Eagles have been owning people, but somehow in fantasy they haven't. Like it's weird. It works out that way sometimes. So I don't know. I don't love the Eagles defense against the Steelers.
Fair. No, it makes sense. I think this could be one of those situations where it's like, it could be either very defensive heavy, but even that's like, maybe they're not going to force a lot of turnovers, which will then obviously limit the scoring opportunities for your fantasy defense. So yeah, it actually doesn't surprise me that much that they want to be a sit. But yeah, this game could go in many directions here. But I think, Ted, I'm going to give you a defense that's sort of, a lot of people look at this defense and be like, this is a fantasy defense that you want to draft. But the way that they've been playing this year, they're one that you want to overlook. But this week's matchup is just too good to pass up. So I'm saying start the Baltimore Ravens versus the New York Giants. It's too easy to pass up. It's too easy
low-hanging fruit, but okay.
It's a little bit low-hanging fruit. But Ted, I don't know if you saw this viral social media post that's been going around here. There was one reporter for the Giants that posted a red zone report from the Giants during practice. They went 0 for 17 during their red zone practice. This resulted as a combination of drops, overthrows, strong defensive plays, and 2 catches that went out of bounds, but 0 for 17 and in the red zone. So that just not spells to me the fact that's like, even if they get to the red zone, there's no guarantee that they're going to score a touchdown. But I think the Ravens are going to be able to score a good amount of points here because the Giants have allowed in 3 straight weeks, allowed opposing defenses to score double-digit fantasy points against them. So like I said, the Ravens haven't been the great fantasy defense this year like they have in years past. But like I said, this matchup is just too good to pass up. If they're available in your fantasy league, I think this is a perfect pickup to get you some crucial points if you want to move on to the next round of your respective fantasy football playoffs there. So Ravens, good play this week.
D'Angelo Hall. I heard Indy, rung you up. You should pick up the phone.
What about Brent Grimes?
Oh, that's good. Damn it. A little recent for my taste, but I like it.
All right, Dale, let's get to the kicker position. What do you got for me this week?
Rondé Barber.
Rondé Barber. He played his entire career in Tampa Bay, so he's not coming to Indianapolis.
He never played for a second team.
He played for anybody else. Football, so yeah, that's what I can't give you. I'm sorry. Everybody else I'll give you, but yeah, sorry, can't give you at Rondé.
Retire number 20. Was that his number?
It was his number.
Oh, look at that. Upset. Okay. Anyway, for kicker, Amer, I will give you $5, hypothetical dollars. Yeah. Mm-hmm, yeah. If you can name the current starting kicker of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Matthew Wright.
Damn it.
The only reason I know that is because he made the game-winning kick against the Chargers, but it doinked in, and so that was the talk.
Doink in. No, that's
it was the talk of all of social media
You're
because
right.
it's like they just got another, freebie, quote unquote, because it's
No,
like
you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
God damn it. Well, you're absolutely right. And he is my start of the week at kicker. So far in the 2 games he's played for the Chiefs, he's reached double-digit points. And do you know who the Chiefs play this week?
Jameis Winston and the Cleveland Browns.
But here's the thing about the Browns. I think their defense is just good enough to hit that sweet spot of holding off the Chiefs offense where Wright has to hit a couple field goals. So I think he's going to hit double digits for the 3rd game in a row. I think he's a very good starter. The reason I asked him that question of, do you know his name, is most fantasy managers don't, because he's out there in most leagues. So I actually really like him as a start and a pickup.
No, I agree with that. And I think also the bigger thing is that the Browns defense will be just good enough, but also it's like the Chiefs have been relying more on their defense as opposed to their offense, Tad, because I mean, really quick, I want to jump to Patrick Mahomes. If you had to guess on the season, how many 20-point fantasy game performances do you think he's had this year?
I would say 0.
So he has had 2. He's had 2 this year.
That's
only
surprising.
2.
That's surprising.
It is a little bit surprising based on all the performances that he sort of, we think about this guy as being like, the best quarterback in the league, which he still is. But just like, as far as fantasy is concerned, heading into next year, it's like, you obviously want to start thinking about like, is this guy worth being one of the first quarterbacks taken off the board? The way the Chiefs play, he's not that guy anymore, I don't think. But yeah, that is a topic for another day. But that just sort of speaks to the fact that this Chiefs offense is not as high scoring as it once was. So they're relying more on the defense. So yeah, I could very much see Matthew Wright being more of a critical piece of this Chiefs quote unquote offense, but definitely for your fantasy roster for sure.
Okay, I have breaking news. Okay. Antoine Bethea is coming back to the Indianapolis Colts.
Okay, I'll give you that one. Antoine Bethea. I like that. Pretty good. Bring back some of the old guys there.
I mean, I already brought up Bob Sanders, so
that's true. That's true. That's a good one there. All right, Ted, I'm going to go with a sit this week. I'm going to sit Cairo Santos of the Chicago Bears versus the Minnesota Vikings this week. They fired Matt Eberflus. They gave the offensive coordinator Thomas Brown. He's now the interim head coach, but didn't seem to be all that much better against the San Francisco 49ers. They had a very dismal performance. Santos has scored less than 5 fantasy points in back-to-back weeks. They're playing the Minnesota Vikings this week, a very tough matchup. I very much like Minnesota as a sort of stay in the race to possibly get that number 1 seed. It's an outside chance, a little bit of a pipe dream for them, the way that Detroit has been playing, but we talked about it. Detroit's playing a very tough opponent in the Buffalo Bills this week. So if there's any slip up there where they perchance lose to Buffalo, if Minnesota keeps winning, they could potentially be in that conversation to get the number 1 seed there. So yeah, they're going to be definitely playing for that, or at least highest seed that they could possibly get. But just, yeah, this Bears offense still needs a lot of work. Unfortunately, they have the pieces, but I think they still need to work on some of their roster still. So I just don't like them to move the ball all that well against the Minnesota Vikings this week. So yeah, I'm saying sit Cairo Santos. If you're considering picking up this week, I don't think you should.
Okay, well, we got to do the tradition. Where's this game being played?
This is being played in Minnesota.
Minnesota. Oh, so it's indoors. Okay, so it doesn't matter.
All your weather related.
Yeah, you killed the bit. But yeah, no, it's just do you trust anyone with the Bears right now?
DeAndre Swift?
No, because
you don't
trust me. No, because I have DeAndre Swift in our sleeper league, and trust me, he's very up and down.
No,
so it's like, yeah, no. So I think that's a good pick. Also, I do have some news. Adam Archuleta is back.
Adam Archuleta, you want him to come back for the Colts? Really? Of all people? Wow.
I'm trying to remember to say who's the shitty cornerback that played for St. Louis. Ty
Hill, right?
Ty Hill, was that Clemson? Yeah, I think that. Yeah,
Ty Hill.
Yeah, Ty Hill, fucking Ty Hill.
That's called Dre Bly.
Oh, it's all right because we got Jason Davis blocking for us.
Yeah, there you go. Oh gosh. All right. So guys, that will close out our episode here for week 15. Like we talked about, this is a very critical week. This is the first round of the fantasy playoffs for most leagues out there. So, I mean, guys, this is very much where it's very important to interact with us to help you with all of your decisions when it comes to start sits and waivers and potential trades and, just anything and everything when it comes to your fantasy football roster, because you need to win or you're going home. So, I mean, guys, make sure you're interacting with us on all our social media handles. You're going to see it coming right down below there. You got us on Twitter. You got me at OnTheSide23, Tad at TadSide94. Got the show handle at The Decide Guys, and of course on Instagram at The Decide Guys as well. So hit us up. We're here to help you hopefully win your fantasy football titles and definitely take home some fantasy championships as well. So guys, make sure you interact with us. Make sure you subscribe to our podcast wherever you listen to your podcast, and please make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. And please, first and foremost, also make sure you're supporting our parent network at LAFB Network, because they're giving you a lot of great content when it comes to the Rams and the Chargers at the professional level and the Bruins and the Trojans at the college football level. But not only that, Ted, they are not only doing football now, they got you covered when it comes to baseball as well as basketball. So they're your source for your Clippers and Lakers knowledge in the NBA, as well as your Dodgers and Angels coverage in the MLB. So, I mean, they got you covered.
Breaking Clippers news, Kawhi is hurt.
I don't know if that's so much breaking news. Unless it's breaking parts of his body. That's probably new.
Oh, come on. No.
But guys, they'll keep you up to date on whatever's going with Kawhi Leonard and whatever injuries he's
Damn.
suffering. So, I mean, they got you covered with not just football, but they got you covered with the MLB as well as NBA, guys. So, I mean, they're not just your football source. They got you covered for all LA sports. They're pretty soon they'll get the LA Kings as well. I don't doubt it for sure. So, but make sure you're supporting them. Lots of great content coming from a lot of great content producers. But to everybody who's already, interacting with us on social media and watching our videos and listening to our podcast, I mean, just any way and everything that you're doing to support the podcast, we really can't thank you enough.
Marcus Trufant.
That's a good one. I like that one.
Let me tell you, Andy looking real nice.
You're talking about Vontae Davis. What about Sean Taylor?
Oh, come on. God damn it. Pat Tillman.
I'll take it.
I actually, fun fact, I didn't know Arizona State has a statue of him.
Yeah.
You want to know how I figured that out?
Were you watching the Big 12 game?
Well, fuck no. I wasn't.
Okay.
Was TCU in there? I don't give a shit.
I don't know. Maybe you're still watching all the championship games.
No, I don't care.
Okay.
But no, it was because I was playing NCAA 25.
Nice.
And they do the whole pregame thing. I was like, oh, that's nice. They have a statue of Pat Tillman. By the way, I will give you another hypothetical $5 if you can guess what bowl game TCU is playing in.
It's the New Mexico Bowl, I think.
Oh,
right?
son of a bitch!
Yeah. I knew it's a location
Damn it!
because I was looking to see which bowl it was, and San Jose State's in the Hawaii Bowl. And I was like, oh, looks like TCU's in a location bowl too. But the New Mexico Bowl.
Mother bleeper, fuck. I love how I said mother bleeper.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what you do.
Against who?
That one you got me. I forgot who they're playing.
Raging Cajuns, baby.
The Cage. All right. The University of Louisiana Lafayette.
Man.
I like
but
it.
Speaking of college football, by the way, this is going to be a big offseason for USC. Can they prevent some transfers? Will they keep Lincoln Riley? I have no idea, but you know who does know? Our frenemy, Al Rowe. Well, he's your friend, my frenemy. Al Rowe on the Salute to Troy podcast, which you can find anywhere where if you're listening to this podcast, just type in Salute to Troy and you're going to find it as well. So be sure to check that out. And also, very good friend of the show, Chauncey Talese, is doing excellent work at LA Podfidential. So be sure to check that out wherever you can find our podcast as well. So guys, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. And please, as always, stay safe, everyone.